Here is the newest chapter for Dead by Daylight. Become lost in smoke that surrounds your entire body and makes it feel as if it has no more importance with a deal in smoke. The new map is the Jackson Gun Factory. Burned and destroyed after that fateful day came, this once prominent factory saw itself go through many years of trouble and financial problems, which only worsened when the previous owner died at the very hour of the stock market crash. Now it has become a common ground for the entity's trials, forcing many to become lost in the smoke that surrounds the broken parts of the facility. The new killer is the dealer. Born during a time of rapid industrialization, Matthew William Scott first began his life always believing one thing: the fact that he never wished to one day become like his father. After many years of distant and cold statements towards each other, the two finally managed to meet for what seemed like the final time. Only this time, Matthew would become much more willing to seek the truth about his father's long hours of work. Soon, however, Matthew would have to deal with the truth. He could never come close to what his father could accomplish, so he became something completely different. Someone willing to let others die for a chance to save what little he had left. Soon he found himself in hell, and once again pulled himself back up from the dust to become a menace even in a place of eternal torment. This is where he met the entity in a dream, and soon after came to an agreement. Give the entity the sacrifices it wants, and in return he would receive the blood of sacrifices. No one can truly tell why Matthew smiled when he heard the sound of blood being given. All he knew was this: death had given him a deal, and he was willing to fulfill it. The dealer's power is Smoke of Loss. Press the special ability button to charge up your power to a max charge. Once you have at least one charge, press the active ability button to place a smoke halo on your weapon. When a survivor gets hit with a basic attack, infect the survivor with a new status effect, Smoke. Depending on how many halos you have, this will determine what effects and how long the smoke will last. Special item: Purified Air. Hidden inside lockers are small vials of purified air that survivors can acquire to try and remove the smoke effect. Meanwhile, the dealer can search inside these lockers to break and destroy the vials, making them no longer available within the locker in question. Should a survivor be hit while they hold the vial, that vial will become destroyed, and the survivor will have their aura shown to you for a brief duration. Survivors cannot pass this effect to others, and can only remove the effect with either by grabbing a small vial of purified air, or by shining a flashlight upon themselves or their teammates. The dealer comes with 3 new perks. Don't allow luck to be a method of escape with Storage Stock-Up. At the start of the trial, call upon the entity to block 2 chests for 60 seconds. Any survivors nearby the blocked chests have their aura shown to you for 5 seconds. They also become afflicted with the Oblivious effect until the survivor is not within a certain meter of the chest. This perk will also summon 3 more additional chests in the trial. Understand the pain of loss and make sure that anything that is collected feels that pain too with Hex Economic Master. Whenever a survivor opens a chest and acquires an item, That item will have half its charge. It is depleted. If the obsession acquires this item, they will have their aura revealed to you for a short duration, and become afflicted with the exhausted status effect for a brief duration. Make sure that customers pay on time with payments due. You can now acquire tokens with this perk. Whenever you hook the obsession, you gain a token, and can now gain other tokens by downing other survivors. Once the obsession becomes unhooked, consume all tokens to gain a small increased movement speed and decreased basic attack cooldown for the next few seconds. Meanwhile, you lose the ability to find the aura of the obsession, and they acquire an extra increase to all actions excluding vaulting. This perk deactivates if you down the obsession or damage a generator. New survivor, Jonathan Martinez. Born into a poor family which had been struggling for years with paying back a huge debt that tore the family line apart day by day, Jonathan was one of those poor children who never knew of a day of work. After being abandoned soon after he became 5 years old, he became a child on the street, doing everything he could to get by. Eventually, as he became a teenager, he acquired enough funds large enough to allow for him to buy a nice apartment, which only was big enough to house himself and a small few paper cutouts he called his friends. One day, while he was attempting to try and figure out what he would have for dinner, he received an unexpected letter telling him that he had been accepted into a job interview in upstate New York. Confused at first, but excited, Jonathan quickly packed his belongings and began his journey. Once he had arrived, he prepared for his interview, and once the day came, he was disappointed to find himself standing in the front of a barren field, with not even a single building in sight. Feeling betrayed and humiliated, Jonathan began to make his way out of the forest, but slowly lost himself in the dark, foggy mist. The last anyone has ever heard from old John was nothing but a tape recorder and his favorite paper pal. Jonathan comes with 3 new perks. The first perk is called Streetways. Whenever you are injured and begin healing with a medkit, increase the healing speed and item depletion of that medkit by a certain amount. After being healed by your medkit, you will gain the exhausted status effect for a brief duration. Make sure to help your other survivors whenever they are in a struggle for their life with Boon Totem Dios Mio. Whenever a survivor is hooked within the range of the Boon Totem, have their sacrifice timer become slowed down by a small amount. Should the killer not be within the Boon Totem's range, they will not receive a notification of someone being unhooked. This perk has a lengthy cooldown. Tradition is only for those who wish to die young. You make the rules, not them with break the rules. Whenever the killer hits you while you are within 15 meters of a downed pallet, that pallet and any blocked windows will become put back into place and unblocked. During this point, you gain the exhausted status effect for a brief duration. This perk also has a lengthy cooldown. Times change, people change, and when it comes to the deals that we make, sometimes we make deals to survive, other times we make deals to thrive, and for others, they make deals just to try and make people die. A Deal in Smoke chapter is now available